Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another video. I don't usually start, this is the first time I've actually started off by saying, if you enjoy this content, let me know. Let me know by liking, subbing, commenting, or just watching this, The more people that watch this, the more I know, like, hey, at least some of these people are watching it, because most people, they see stuff that is new, because I'm obviously new, and they're like, oh, I don't care about this, I don't want to watch it. But yeah, we're just going to be doing just shuffling. Remember, push it in there, let it just unfold, and it should be, just drop it, smooth, 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 make it smooth. Today, before we started not our master class, but kind of our beginner's class for Mitsuguri, I guess you'd call this. I wanted to talk about ceilings for decks. So, obviously, a very low-level player of Mitsuguri would probably just look at last video's hand, which I just recorded actually, where you had to make Wosu in order to actually like combo like at all. And they probably look at that and they probably just try to make Wosu or whatever and just give up, probably just scoop, honestly, or like immediately pass turn, not say anything. But here's what you should do. First of all, you need to do a couple of things each turn. So if you do not know the deck that your opponent is playing, first of all, always, always, always read and ask questions. Read the cards. If you're confused, ask questions. Never, and I do mean this, never, ever, ever let this be confused, because if they misplay unintentionally, right, and you're not paying attention, they could just like, oh, they're not paying attention. Here, let me just change this real quick. Like, for example, what if you're playing Elf Note? You don't know anything about Elf Note, and there's like where they put the monsters in the zones, they specifically matter, because in the center zone they can't be destroyed or whatever. If they accidentally put it in a different zone and then, oh crap, I need to put this in the center zone and do that, you can't catch that. You need to be able to read the cards. It's important to understand what decks do beforehand, just that knowledge, like where to hand trap and everything else. But another thing I would do, if you're not willing to do that, whatever, that's fine. It's not fine, but ask them. Say, hey, where do you suggest, like, after the match is over? They're not going to tell you mid-match. Oh, yeah, Ash here, Troll here, Effect Veiler here, Imperm here, Nib here, wherever, Here's what you should do. You should think about what they're doing in general, right? Okay, they haven't done any link summoning yet, and now there's 3 monsters on the field, and they added a spell that I have no idea what it does. Is it possible they're about to fusion summon, XD summon, blah, 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 whatever. You just need to think about that. You need to learn what the deck does while you're doing in the first round. Even if you have a bad hand, never, ever, ever just say, let's just scoop. No. Say, bluff. Bluff them out so that A, you can, number 1, you figure out where they get scared at. Number 2, you let them play out their full combo, because they think that, like, you have some obscure card like Waboku or something, because why are you letting that play out, right? So you just want to know about that so that you can, next time, you can side out correct cards or know how to play against it. And just, number 3, increase your overall knowledge of it. Number 4, here's something. Make niche notes over cards. Hey, this card has this weakness. I noticed this thing about this card. Understand what the card does before anyone actually needs to tell you what it does on the internet. Like, Joshua Schmidt does not need to tell you what every single thing does. Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Actually, no, that's not what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about, but that's what I just said. That was good information, though. What I wanted to actually talk about was the ceilings for decks, okay? You cannot go into a tournament buying the best deck, even if you have $1,000,000. I do not care. You can go buy all the Fedrolus Harmonias and Forbidden Crowns and everything, make the most expensive Cool Tune or Branded or Archmage Power Patron or Sky Striker. I say those decks because I think they're the best decks in the format. I think there's no one best deck. I think that Cool Tune is glazed too much, but there's obvious weaknesses and they want to destroy it. And I think that it's just what makes a deck good is the popularity and just the amount of idiots running around not knowing what to do about the actual deck. And you know what? Actually, this is going to be discussion time. I do change things mid-video, and maybe that's something that, like, I maybe need to stop because, oh, I have plans for this video, and then I change. But I do want this to be a discussion, right? I want to talk about this. So let's talk about it. Even if you have $1,000,000 and you go buy the best deck in the format, you buy all 5, right? Buy the 5 best decks in the format: Doomsday, Power Patron, Archmage Power Patron, whatever, same thing. Cool Tune, Branded, and the Sky Striker or whatever. Sorry, kind of just lost my train of thought. But yeah, what I was saying was, like, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Like, lost it again. Sorry, guys. Alright, I need to pay attention, kind of lock in, you know. That's my bad. I feel like I keep hearing noises or something, but whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about, the ceiling, right? If you don't know your deck, if you don't know how it plays, you're gonna get destroyed by someone who knows your deck better than you do, and that they may know that deck better than you do than they do their own deck, because they know the counters, okay? Because, let me tell you this, knowing where to ash, whatever, that's fine. Knowing where to super poly, okay. Knowing where to nib, okay, that's common knowledge. But it's the nichest interactions ever. It's knowing generally what this deck can do. Think about this. How does Blue Eyes win? How does Blue Eyes the deck win? I'll tell you how they win. They win by setting up a board that's practically indestructible. But they have one weakness. The weakness of the board is, first of all, they have 2 types of weaknesses. Before the board's set up, they have a big weakness to hand traps. If you have one hand trap, they're almost dead every single time. It's fair. Sorry, lost my train of thought again. Like, yeah, they can end on a couple, like 1 or 2 disruptions if you're just randomly hand trapping them, but let's be honest, a deck can play through that many disruptions, you know. And it's just the way that I know that it can is because I've seen it before. Sidra, for example, Cyber Dragons, is an extremely good deck just because of its, like, potential. Like, I think it's Cyber Emergency that if it's negated, you can activate it again. Cybernetic Horizon, Cybernetic, maybe it is. Yeah, it's Cybernetic Horizon. It dumps 2 for cost. Like, that's insane. It's one of the best starters in the entire deck. I know it because I used to play it. They can play around Nib. Ash is fine. It's easy. It really is easy. They're kind of like Blue Eyes. It really is. It's just better. It really just is better than Blue Eyes. But for Blue Eyes, even if they make the board, the way that a Blue Eyes player loses, I'll tell you right now, first-hand experience, I created the most powerful board ever. Let me tell you my board that I created. Ultimate Spirit, Cipher, Jet Dragon, and a Spirit Dragon. The Synchro. That's on the board right now, even if they were to stop everything. That's 1 Omni Negate on field, 1 generic Omni Negate, because Ultimate only Omni Negates cards that are on the field. Protection from everything. No, protection from card destruction effects by Jet. Graveyard negation. Stuff that's in the graveyard that's activating my main. And then, but if you want to know the disruptions specifically, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, I want to say, 4 disruptions. But it's almost an unkillable board because it's just the high stats, honestly. And because if you make Cosmic Blazar just ends the battle phase. Like, it banishes itself, it stops any attack, it ends the battle phase. But the way you break it is Super Poly. That's exactly how I lost. He had Super Poly. And he just played around the couple of negates I had because I just didn't know his deck. Listen, the way you win major tournaments is by expecting the worst. Okay? And it's not playing around certain cards, no. Sometimes it is. Especially in Cool Tune, because you know what they're going to do. It's about knowing what really is the best way to actually play against your opponent, which you know very little information. If they have no hand traps, they're either all starters or all board breakers. And you need to think, how can I play around this? Can I make this safe? What's the best way to counter my opponent? Is know this. What cards right now, how would I break a board like this? And don't say, oh, I couldn't. No, you can. With what cards? What specific cards? With the least amount of cards possible. I do not care how much it's to draw. I don't care the percentages. What could break this board? And you want to determine, realistically, do I want to play around that hand? And honestly, another thing, people, they think that, oh, Mitsurugi, it's a 7 disruption. Boy, that's 7 disruptions. How do decks play around that? It's because of Konami card design. Some cards you don't ash. Some cards you shouldn't negate because it's suboptimal. Because they're baiting you for something. You have to determine if they're baiting you, if it's correct, and when to break those rules. You have to do all of that. You have to think about it. You have to play under that pressure of not knowing. And how they beat you is by getting under your skin, is by making you sweat. Okay? That's how they beat you. That's how they beat a 7 disruption board, by completely shutting things off. By knowing that they have to let me play because some of these times they have to let me play because they just do. They shouldn't negate, because if they negate everything all at once, guess what happens? They have no negates left. And then whatever else I have in my hand, I break their board and then I win, because I have my one card stop. I have my one card starter. That's how they win. And another way they win, especially if it's trap heavy deck, realistically anything, especially with security, because you just, I don't know, not against one specific deck, but playing turn 0. Even the slightest bit of interaction, even if you drop a retaliating C that they instantly blow up, it's play. They have to do something about it. Even if you drop a contact C, it's a play. They have to think, oh, my opponent just played. What do I do about this? And you think, oh, I can, it's fine. I can just fuse with it or whatnot. But it's about, think about this. Throw your opponent off. Bluff. Okay, play turn 0. That's the best way you win. If you're already playing turn 0, guess what? Turn 1, it's our turn now. You know. The best of decks, the best duels are not, okay, I'm going to play my turn, 10 board negate, let's see you do it. And now it's like, I play through all of that, make a, not even a half board, like a third or fourth board, destroy pretty much most of your board, and do the same, back and forth, blah, blah, blah. No. It's your turn, our turn. And if it's not that, then they're playing heavy board breakers. Like Book of Eclipse, Super Poly, stuff like that. And they know your deck. They know how to win. They know how they beat more people than just one person. They've beaten tons of people the same way before, or different ways. And they have the method. They know it. And they've been playing forever. They understand the meta. They understand the game. They've understood the game for a while now. And they just know that. They just know how to deck build. Do you think they look at other people's deck profiles and make stuff like that? No. I mean, Joshua Schmidt does for Master Duel memes and whatnot. So does Farfa. But Farfa doesn't play the TCG. He doesn't play any tournaments. Joshua Schmidt is a real competitive player who does not play Master Duel competitively. And if he does, then I was wrong. It's fine. You can laugh, whatever. But he most certainly does not troll when it comes to competitive time. He locks in and he tries his best. And sometimes it's like, there are many things that I thought that I disagreed with in his video talking about German nationals and how he didn't do really well, that he played Cool Tune, he did not play Branded, and that he was thinking about playing Sky Striker. Honestly, I think about this. His reasoning to not play Branded was because he was scared. You just don't think like, oh, like, think about this. Let's say you're 15, 16, maybe 17. You got not a lot of money, but you got a deck. You got maybe 1 or 2 decks. But you got one decent meta deck. It doesn't have everything. It doesn't have all the best cards, but it's playable. It's like this. It's like you don't got Forbidden Crowns. You got Forbidden Droplets, but I mean, yeah. But you've got basically the main combo piece and everything. It's like you're not scared to play this deck because you're like, what other deck am I going to play? You also have to understand this. With more options becomes more pressure. Some of that pressure is artificial. You just need to think of this. Why do I think that he should have played Branded? It's because simply one thing. It's because number one, board breakers, like, even though board breakers are rampant throughout this format, and that's what Branded loses, the recursion, their main phase 3, it's still insane. I don't think that can keep up, honestly. And quite honestly, you know, I just think that the more you experiment, the more you just play and understand this is what this does, the more you can commit to one deck, you kind of realize this. There is no best deck in the format. Okay? If you want to break boards, go play Sky Striker. If you want to OTK your opponent, no, sorry, not OTK. If you want to change the way your opponent systematically will play the game and be cautious about things, or just change the way that your opponent plays the game entirely, play Cool Tune. If you want to, yeah, it is OTK, not, I was thinking about FTK, whatever. If you want to OTK your opponent, play Malice, okay? If you're cheap, play Sky Striker, play Mitsugiri, Sky Striker, Mitsu Striker, whatever. And, I mean, there are good cards. There are cards that, and most of the decks that people are like, well, how is this not meta compatible? It's just because they don't work the best with the current staples in the format right now. Like, some of these older decks, either they're going to have, like, absolutely no extra deck. So you can load up, like, 3 Super Poly and, like, 9 Super Poly targets, and then the rest is, like, Fallen into Virtuous. And then Albion or whatever's your target, whichever you want. But another thing is it's also like that, or it's like it's Blue Eyes. They've used up all their extra deck slots, and what do you want to do? And there's really a problem with that, and there's really this and that. And it's, you gotta think about this. It should not be this like complicated to pick a deck to literally do the most basic things that, like, little Timmy over here, oh, I heard Malice is really good, I'm going to go buy it, even though it's $200, but I'm going to win locals. And then he doesn't win locals. And he's like, why didn't I win locals? It's because, little Timmy, you bought Malice, but you don't know anything about it. You need to play it. He doesn't understand that you need to learn the deck. You need to research it. But here's the thing. I think you can sit here and listen to Joshua Schmidt talk about, like, whatever he wants to talk about all day. He can talk about furries. He can talk about, not furries. He can talk about, like, Mitsurugi line. He can talk about why Flawless is a side deck card, why Ash is terrible or whatever. Yeah, that was really weird. I don't know why I thought about furries for a second. But no hate, no hate. But honestly, it's, are you going to apply the information he tells you? Are you going to actually listen? Like, that's, and are you going to put that into theory? Are you going to understand what that means in theory? Are you going to use that in your tournaments, in your locals? Are you going to really feel what that, are you going to know what that feels like? Feel it. Are you going to? Are you going to master your deck? If you do, good. Watch the content. If you don't, then go sit down and draw 2 cards over and over again. Shuffle your deck, draw 2 cards. Shuffle your deck, draw 2 cards. And what you're going to want to do is we're going to try to make the best board possible. Can't do 2 cards, do 3. Can't do 3, do 4. Can't do 4, do 5. If you can't do 5, well, either your deck's really prickish or, I don't know, man. Here's what I think. For a beginner, start off with a deck list. Definitely. But if you're a pro, I would not copy down. Or if you're getting to that intermediate level, stop completely copying deck lists down. Figure out why that is the way it is. And just understand, like, if I do not exactly copy this, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to go down. This is what's going to go up. Am I going to draw more cards? Like, Sky Striker. Am I playing... Everyone plays 3 Upstart. Am I going to play Pot of Desires? Am I going to play 3? No. I'm going to play 2. Why? Because I think that opening 3 or opening 2 while you have 3 is much more common than opening 2. If that's your fear, then what about Upstart Goblin? Well, that's obviously not once per turn. But if it gets negated, blah, 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 all this and that. Systematically think, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Think about it. Why are you doing this? What is the specific purpose of this? What is your goal for the deck? Right? If it's to have fun, have fun. Whatever you make your goal for competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Or whatever Yu-Gi-Oh! Is to be, then make sure that your deck is utilized with cards that are going to meet that goal. Make sure that you are the best pilot for that deck. You need to try out decks, honestly. If you get the money, you want to invest time and resources, maybe like a bunch of money as in, I don't know, like $200, $300, which is a bunch of money. But if you want to do it, go do it. Go invest in Mitsugiri hybrid decks. Ryziel. Sky Striker. All these decks. Don't invest in stuff like branded unless you know that you're going to be able to quickly get rid of the stuff that's about to be banned, that's about to go out of style before it drops in value so that you can actually get your money back. But if you don't want to, then whatever. Fine. Watch those singles go. Watch Forbidden Crown drop from $100 to $20, and then give it another month, it'll be $10. And guess what? I'm buying it at 3 when you bought it at 1. I'm down 30, but you're down 300. You know, that's just the thing. Well, this video is pretty long, but it's just this. Know what you want to do beforehand. Don't go in thinking that you're going to own the place and know everything unless you actually do. Do not lie to yourself. That's the biggest thing. This is definitely by far the longest video I've ever made. And next video, I do promise we are going to talk about, we're going to be doing the Mitsugiri stuff. But yeah, that's it. Wherever you are, hope you had a good time watching. And like, sub, comment, whatever. Or if you don't want to, then whatever. Alright. Goodbye, everybody.